everyone. How are you? Mrs. Brown here. If this is your first time to my channel, make sure you hit like or subscribe so that I can make sure that you're notified anytime I upload any new videos. So welcome. Also, if this is your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Mrs. Brown, and I make learning how to write well enjoyable for your student. Now, today we are going to be talking about how to use strong verbs like Riordan. Now, if you are already an IEW student, then you have already heard of what strong verbs are. And if you're not an IEW student, that stands for the Institute for Excellence in Writing, then you're probably familiar with verbs. But here today, we're going to be talking about how to use strong verbs in our writing. Now, one of our jobs as writers is to make sure that our reader, that we help the reader see, hear, feel, and experience the scene that we are writing about. And part of the way that we can do that is by using strong verbs. Now, let's talk a little bit about what strong verbs are. Now, strong verbs are verbs that show action that is easy to picture. Now, the problem is most of the time when we start writing, early on, we use verbs like say, said, come, came, go, went, eat, ate, see, saw, think, and thought. And those aren't terrible verbs, obviously, but they are not strong verbs. And we want to make sure that as writers, especially as we are beginning to develop our ability to write well, that we use strong verbs. And if you don't do that well, make sure you go into the description link below because I have linked a free app for you that is provided to you by Institute for Excellence in Writing. And so any of these words here that are on the screen that are very commonly used verbs that we need to really replace with a strong verb, you can go into that app and they will give you a whole list of verbs that you can use. Another thing that you can do to get better at adding strong verbs to your writing is to study published authors. And today we're actually going to study Rick Riordan. And if you have not heard of the book Lightning Thief, go to your library today and pick it up. It is an excellent, excellent book. And Rick Riordan is a published author who really demonstrates the use of strong verbs. So I'm going to read this excerpt for you of Lightning Thief, and I want you to be focusing on Rick Riordan's strong verbs. And at the end, I want you to post either in the chat or in the comments below, what is your favorite strong verb that Rick Riordan uses? All right, here we go. Mr. Brunner, who'd been out in front of the museum a minute before, wheeled his chair into the doorway of the gallery, holding a pen in his hand. What ho, Percy, he shouted, and tossed the pen through the air. Mrs. Dodds lunged at me. With a yelp, I dodged and felt talons slash the air next to my ear. I snatched the ballpoint pen out of the air, but when it hit my hand, it wasn't a pen any more. It was a sword. Mr. Brunner's bronze sword, which he always used on tournament day. Mrs. Dodds spun toward me with a murderous look in her eyes. My knees were jelly. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the sword. She snarled, Die, honey, and she flew straight at me. Absolute terror ran through my body. I did the only thing that came naturally. I swung the sword. Isn't that such an amazing example of how powerful strong verbs are? Wheeled, shouted, tossed, lunged, dodged, snatched, spun, snarled, swung. All of those paint a picture in our mind that really bring us into that story. We can feel and sense all of the things that are happening in the story. And so that is what you will do as well as a writer. So here is your homework. Your homework is to go out, and if you haven't gotten this book, go ahead and grab this book because Rick Riordan is an excellent author. Also, I want you to be on the lookout this week for strong verbs in the books or magazines or articles that you are reading this week. All right, so that's it for the day. I just want to say that I'm so glad that you joined me today to learn about how to use strong verbs like Riordan. So, happy writing. If you are a budding author or writer, I want you to remember, don't let the published authors have all of the fun. You can use strong verbs too. Until next time, take good care.